Let's find out where this might end, because we're joined now by Jo Grady, who's the General Secretary of the University and College Union. Hi, Jo.
Hi.
What the hell's happening here? We've locked this vast proportion of the university student membership in. How can you do that?
Well, I mean, what sounds like they've done it with very little communication or clarification as to what it is exactly they're doing. And my heart goes out to the students that I've seen, not just now, but over the weekend giving interviews, because I think it's really clear that a lot of students are putting a brave face on this. We know that the first 2 weeks of university are incredibly hard for students. It's when a lot of students might drop out. We know that students often choose to visit home, go home for that cooked meal. The students that do struggle, the coping mechanisms that are normally available to them, such as visiting family, making friends outside of their accommodation, those aren't available. And the real concern here isn't just that we need to get through the next 2 weeks, because as we've just seen, you could isolate and then be having to isolate again, mainly because, and this is the case at Manchester Met, they are not testing asymptomatic people. So we have an age cohort, 17 to 22-year-olds, where the infection rate has been higher than anywhere else in the population. They're all locked in together. It's very difficult to see, without an effective track or trace or without better testing, how this is actually going to be resolved. What we're asking for as a union is that funding is injected into the sector right now, so that any student who wants to leave can do so in a managed and safe way, because this is going to take a bit of time now, that they don't suffer a financial detriment for doing that, and that teaching is put online so that we can start managing that process now to get people who need to go home, so that we're not worrying about Christmas in December. What we do now will affect what happens in the next few weeks. Inaction now will mean we're kicking this can down the road.
And do you think that there's an argument that really universities shouldn't have gone back, and that as everybody is learning online anyway, this is something that they could have done from home and been safe without having to be locked in, essentially?
Precisely, Holly. We've been making the argument for over a month now. Independent SAGE and even the government's own SAGE report predicted outbreaks. My heart really goes out to the student who's just been talking, because this was completely avoidable. It was preventable. The government didn't develop a track and trace over the summer to even make this an option. They squandered that opportunity. Universities told students they could come back and expect that campus experience. It would have been much better if they'd have taken our advice, if they'd have said, let's get everything online, all hands on deck, really support students from home. That didn't happen. We've got this situation. They have to take urgent action now.
Thank you, Jo. Ellie, do you wish